All right, guys. So, as you can see behind me, I got one of the fathers of movement. This is Sir Isaac Newton, as you guys already know. Now, today we're going to talk about two types of energy. And the reason I have Newton up here is because we can kind of relate it to Newton's first law, which is inertia. And let's talk about inertia real quick. Well, inertia has two parts, right? Everything that is in motion is going to stay in motion until forces stop it, okay? And everything that is not in motion is going to stay still until something comes along and moves it, a force, a push, or a pull. Today, we're going to talk about two types of energy, okay? And this is going to be kinetic and potential energy. Now, when you get to school, and we get back in school, I'm probably going to show you the videos of these from the Eureka video. They're really, really good. But this is a really easy thing to think about because it relates to Newton's first law, which is inertia. I just told you. Kinetic and potential energy basically talks about how energy is in motion or how it's not in motion, okay? Now, if you look around your room or you look around your world around you, things are doing one of two things. Either they're standing still or they're moving, okay? Now, when you think about potential and kinetic energy, there's two ways to look at it, sort of. Well, let's talk about potential first. When you look at a soccer ball on the field, it's not moving, but it has the potential to move, okay? It's just looking for something to move it, a push or a pull, someone kicking it, someone pushing it, someone running their bike into it, a gust of wind moving it. Those are all things and forces that can move objects, right? So everything around you has the potential to move, even your home. I mean, if a tornado came around, tornado is a very, very violent force in nature. It could rip your house apart very easily. Not necessarily around here. We don't really have that strong of tornadoes around here, but if you lived in somewhere like Kansas or Missouri or Texas or Oklahoma, those people lose their homes quite often. Well, not everybody, but some people lose their homes quite often. They're totally gone. So your house has potential to move, okay? Now, this word kinetic is kind of a cool word, and it comes from a Greek word called kinema, okay? Greeks were looking for a cool word when they were sitting there talking about what work was. And work is defined as movement, okay? And movement translates in Greek to this word kinema, which means to move. Well, y'all know you don't know Greek and we don't learn Greek anymore. But movie producers over the years started, before we called them the movies, they were called a cinema, okay? And cinemas basically showed movies. And you guys probably don't remember what old movies looked like when they had to put them on a reel. And the reel ran the entire time the movie was running. So they got this word cinema from the word kinema because it means moving pictures. Well, when they made the word kinetic energy, they decided to keep the K. And they kept the K-I-N-E. And they just added the TIC on the end and changed it to kinetic energy. Now, kinetic energy basically means that it is always in motion, okay? So the rotation of the Earth is always in a form of kinetic energy. The Earth does not stop rotating, okay? The blood in your blood vessels, your heart, is a form of kinetic energy as well. These things are always going, obviously until you meet your maker and you don't live anymore. These things are always in motion, okay? So potential energy basically means that it's got the potential to move. It just needs a force to bump it along. Such as if I went and I was gonna shoot a bow and arrow. Well, the bow and arrow can't do much without me applying the force to it, pulling the bow back. And I release it, and that turns into kinetic energy. So kinetic is the movement of objects, things that are in motion. And remember, on Earth, most things don't just move on their own. I mean, obviously, I told you some good ones, the rotation of the earth, the beating of your heart. There's obviously a few others that I'm missing, but very few things stay in motion all the time. Very few things are always in motion. And remember, forces stop this motion. And friction is the first one. Remember, friction's the biggie. That's the one that does most of the stopping. And that's when two surfaces rub together and they slow things down or they heat things up. The other one is gravity. Gravity plays a role in things stopping as well. But if something's got potential energy, the soccer ball in the middle of the soccer field, your parents' car in their driveway, your old stuffed animal that you have in your room you hadn't touched since you were in first grade. Well, all you have to do is go and apply forces to them to get them to move, and then all of a sudden they turn from a potential into a kinetic energy. So just remember that. Just because something's not moving does not mean it doesn't have energy in it. It just needs something to get the energy moving, okay? So try to think about that and relate it to Newton's first law. It's inertia. In order for something to get moving, it's got to have a force to hit it, a push or a pull. Think about your door. Right? To get out of your door, you probably pull it, and then you can push doors open, you can pull them closed. And then if something's still, you're going to have to apply a force to get it moving. If something's moving, you're going to have to apply a force to make it stop, or it could stop on its own from friction and gravity. So all of this stuff should start tying in a little bit more. And listen, this is a really easy concept. It's very like inertia. If you know inertia, you can remember potential and kinetic energy, okay? So we'll go over this more in the future because I gotta be able to relate it to other things, and I'm gonna throw these in kind of like a problem for you, and I'm gonna see if you can't figure them out when we start taking more tests together. But that's going to be my lesson for the day, okay? So these are two pretty important words that you got to remember because they will be on the EOG, and they're not hard, okay? If you need any help with the form I'm getting ready to give you, please shoot me an email, and I will answer you right back, okay? And I hope you guys have a great day, and try not to get too wet today. It's going to be a messy, messy day, okay? Oh, cold front's moving through as well. That's why we're getting this rain. So tomorrow is going to be markedly colder than today. And that's what I've told you from the get-go, is that in the winter, we have a lot of cold fronts coming through because it's winter. We're not supposed to be getting warm fronts. But you guys have a good day, and take care of yourselves, okay?